Hi English students, this is Miss Newman, your English instructor, and I want us to go over the research paper topic sheet and some ideas that are going to be helpful for you to know as you get started on your research paper. For this research paper, I would like you to utilize outside sources, so that could be articles, books, documentaries, etc. I'm not too concerned about the types of sources you use as long as they're reputable sources. So stay away from Wikipedia or blogs or things that are just Joe Schmo writing about his opinions online. Make sure that it comes from a reputable source. And if you're not sure if it's a reputable source, you can email me the website link or the description of the outside source, and I'll let you know whether or not it's a good source to use. But if you find a cool documentary online, like a Netflix documentary or something like that, that's something you could use for this research paper. So you're essentially using the outside source to learn about an influential person and how he or she has influenced today's society, whether for the better or for the worse. While you may choose the person, please ask my permission for your topic before beginning your research. So you're actually doing a topic proposal and outline for this assignment. So that's how you're going to ask permission, is essentially, and some of you guys have already emailed ahead, and I appreciate you guys working ahead towards your research paper topic, but really the research paper topic proposal and outline is how I'm going to approve your topic, because that way I know exactly what body paragraphs you have in mind for the paper as well, and I can guide you in the right direction early on in the writing process. So I'm actually going to look over those topic proposals and outlines and give you feedback on them as well. So make sure you check into the discussion board to benefit from my comments. Also, you may not repeat a topic that you have written about in the past. So during English 101 or in your high school classes, I want this to be an original research paper for many reasons. I want to see what you have now as far as your information you're interested in now. But I also want to warn you that if you try to use a paper from the past, there's a chance that it gets flagged for plagiarism, because on my end, I get all of the essays scanned through anti-plagiarism software to make sure you guys are writing original essays. And all it says on my end is that it came from a student's paper. It doesn't say the student's name. So say if a past paper of yours was run through the same software, it would flag it as plagiarized, and it wouldn't say that it came from you. It just says student paper. So just make sure you're writing an original essay for this class, and you won't have to worry about that at all. The rough draft is going to be due Monday, September 13th by midnight, and you turn in all your rough drafts in discussion board, because we're going to do peer review on rough drafts. So your classmates will give you feedback on revisions that are needed for your rough draft. The final draft is going to be due Wednesday, September 29th by midnight, and you'll turn that into the Content Week 6 folder. All of your final drafts are turned in the content area. This is worth 40% of your final grade. The research paper is really technically worth 2 essays, so it does carry by far the most weight of any of the assignments for this semester. So we are going to spend quite a bit of time working on this research paper. The length of the research paper should be at least 1,000 words in length. It does count the works cited page. That's one question I get pretty often. The word count does count the works cited page. For formatting, it should be 12-point Times New Roman font, double spaced with MLA heading and style. And I'm going to actually use your textbook at this point, because I want to show you exactly what I mean by MLA heading. So, an example of MLA is on page 192 of the 4th edition, which is the green textbook, the Seagull book. But if you have the blue edition, it's going to be on page 161. So if it's the new edition, the green edition, it's page 192. If it's the old edition, the 3rd edition, or the blue edition, it's page 161. So either way, it has the exact same information, just different page numbers. So notice that the heading has your name, my name in the class, and the date. The date is the day that the final draft is due. Also notice there's a page number in the upper right-hand corner with your last name next to the page number. And this shows what double space Times New Roman looks like. So I definitely recommend using this example in your textbook when you're creating your MLA formatted essays, which all of the essays are MLA formatted for this class. So you will have to have MLA heading and style. Also notice for a research paper specifically, you will have to have a works cited page. The works cited page gives credit to your outside sources. So it's very important that you have your works cited page so that you do not accidentally plagiarize. Plagiarizing is essentially acting like the ideas in your paper are your own instead of giving credit to the author of the work. It's intellectual theft. So we want to make sure we have a works cited page. In the old edition, it was on page 168. There's a good example of a works cited page where they list out the sources. They're in alphabetical order. There's a works cited title at the top. If you're not sure how to cite your specific source, I can show you in the textbook. So feel free to send me an email and say, hey, I've got the second edition book that I'm citing the introduction or some specific question, and I'll help you cite your book or cite your source. And online sources especially can get a little sticky, so feel free to send me questions. In the old edition, the third edition, is page 168. In the new edition, which is the green edition, the example's on page 199. So either way, you've got a really good example of a works cited page to use. And feel free to send me any questions about those as well. So you must include at least 3 outside sources, at least 3. So you can go beyond 3. So if you find 4 or 5 and they're very interesting, helpful sources for your information, feel free to go past 3, but the minimum is at least 3 outside sources. I feel the same way about the word count. If you go over 1,000 words, that's fine. If you send 1,200 words, that's fine. I don't count off for going over the word count. I count off if you go under the word count. And for the exact same reason, I will not count off if you turn in a works cited page with 6 or 7 sources. I will count off if you turn in a works cited page with just 2 sources. So just make sure you reach the minimum for this assignment. There is a final draft late submission rule. So my rule is 10 points off every day late. So just make sure you turn in that final draft on time. All final drafts are going to be graded using the English 102 grading rubric that's always on the Getting Started page of Blackboard. So feel free to scroll down to the Getting Started page and find the grading rubric so you can see exactly what I'm going to use to grade your papers. They're also going to be scanned with anti-plagiarism software, so just make sure that you do not plagiarize. Do not get any essays online. Don't use your friend's essay, because there's a really good chance you will get caught and we will have to have a conversation. So please don't do that. Actually write your paper and you will not have to worry about plagiarism. I have a spot at the bottom for brainstorming and outlining. You're not required to do that for your papers, but always include that at the bottom of the topic sheet so you can write out notes as needed. I know the research paper can be pretty daunting, so feel free to send me any questions you have about it. And like I said, we're going to spend a lot of time on this assignment since it does carry so much weight for the class. So we are going to take it kind of a slow process. So don't get overwhelmed. You've got a little bit of time to work on this. So feel free to send me any questions you have, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks. Bye.